12/13/13, Friday the 13th. Lucky day for Dr. Glidden, Friday the 13th. 13 has always been my lucky number. Now you know a little bit more about me than is necessary. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen, to another live presentation of Fire Your MD Now. The phones are cooking, so let's just get right to it, shall we? Let's just get right to it. On Friday the 13th, let's go to David in Chicago. Hey, David, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, I hope you can hear me, Doctor. I've got a kind of a severe situation going on with somebody that needs some help. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
Okay. I just got in our longevity a few weeks ago. It's been amazing for me and other people that I'm getting involved with, but got a friend who wanted to get on some stuff to help him, on a starter pack to help him, the blood sugar pack to help him with his ADD. But he wants to pay for his friend instead, who has a whole slew of things going on, starting back in, let's say, 6 years now. And I did a quick interview with him just to get right down to the point of what he's dealing with. We've got severe heart palpitations, brain fog, adrenal fatigue, according to a holistic doctor, and thyroid levels will go up and down. Testosterone levels are way down. I've got the 3 meds he's on right now. And he went from a holistic doctor to a Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic told him to get off of everything the holistic doc said to do, including some natural stuff for his adrenals and his thyroid. They told him to get off the iodine, the vitamin C, the fish oils, the B complex. He's got severe sleep apnea now, and he's going to a sleep doctor for that, and he's got him in a CPAC, and he's also going to an endocrinologist. And I just wanted to give you kind of a roundabout thing that's going on, and I've got a list of the 3 meds that he's on right now, if that's going to help you. Cause I just want to
well, no, it's not going to help me. Let me cut right to the chase here, and I appreciate the stand that you were taking for everyone else in your family. And because you're new to longevity, I'm going to give you a tip that's going to make a gigantic difference for you moving forward. I've been doing this for 25 years, clinically, 25 years treating patients with holistic medicine. I've been around the block. Been with longevity for 4.5 years. And for the first 4 years, I think, 4 or 5 years of my private practice, I had a free clinic where I would treat people for free, and then I upgraded it to a nominal $20 fee. The first Friday of every month, I would treat underprivileged people for free. I did this for 4 years. I stopped doing it because when you treat people for free, or they don't pay for their stuff themselves, they're consistently non-compliant. When they hit a bump in the program, they abandon ship because they're not completely enrolled in it. This person has a lot of stuff going on. And as he's already witnessed, the MDs are going to be diametrically opposed to our point of view. So the MDs are going to tell him to go left, we're going to tell him to go right, whatever. Now, he has to choose which line of action he wants to follow, and then he needs to stick with it. And it is 100% of the time a bad idea. 100% of the time, not 90% of the time. 100% of the time, it is a bad idea to pay for somebody's nutritional supplements yourself. It sounds like it's a very philanthropic thing to do. It sounds like it's a very humanitarian thing to do, but it always backfires. Because unless people are invested in it financially themselves, they're going to abandon ship when they hit a rough patch, and everybody always hits a rough patch in any type of therapeutic that they're doing. So I could tell you what to give this guy, but I would rather tell this guy what to do. So your job, if you choose to accept it, is to encourage this guy to call me and speak to me directly, and I'll line everything up for him, and I'll dial it in for him, and I'll tell him exactly why this stuff is going on, and I'll tell him how we can help and how long it should take for him to get to the other side. But if I'm doing it second hand or third hand and somebody else is paying for it, it will fail 100% of the time. Does that make sense, David?
Yeah, interestingly enough, I've been helping people for years get off of meds, and I understand where you're coming from. He is actually very open to this, but doesn't have the funds. And it wasn't me, but a friend of ours is going to pay for him, and he's desperate. He's like, yes. And the only reason I'm calling is he's so scatterbrained that he's all over the place. So I literally took down the notes to get it to you right away without taking too much time, because this is a call-in show, and that's the only reason I'm actually calling.
Yeah, well, all right. So we just had, I'd like you to go to, I'll tell you what to do, but here's what I'd also like you to do. I'd like you to listen to yesterday's show. And if you go to gcnlive.com, or if you go to my website, fireyourmdnow.com, you can listen to any radio show that I've ever done. They're archived. And I want you to listen to the second hour of yesterday's show, the first 20 minutes of the second hour of yesterday's show. We talked to one of the top distributors in longevity, and he gave a remarkable testimonial about a woman who had severe fibromyalgia. She was in bed for 18 hours a day. She was in so much pain. They were losing their house. Her husband's job was going south. She couldn't work because of the pain that she was in, and they had no money. They could not afford the Healthy Start Pack. They couldn't afford it. They could not afford what she needed to recover her health. So they, however, understood the wisdom of the network marketing strategy, and she bought, even though she couldn't pay the mortgage, she bought 100 CDs of Dead Doctors Don't Lie, the best of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. She bought 100 CDs. And within 3 years, of course, she completely recovered from her illness, because in a couple of months she was able to afford her supplements. She's making 6 figures. So there are no circumstances whatsoever in which somebody who is financially strapped can't get on board this horse, ride it, and become financially independent. There are no exceptions to that rule. So I just want to run that by you, because, you know, you're going to come up against this quite a bit, especially in this economy, especially in the United States, especially in Illinois. You're going to come up against it all the time. Oh, I can't afford this. Oh, that's too expensive. Oh, this, oh, that, or the other. Well, there is a way out of financial destitution, and it's longevity. And that's exactly why Dr. Wallach, in his wisdom, set this company up as a network marketing business, in order to help people be able to afford nutritional supplements that insurance doesn't pay for. So, having said that, I'm going to tell you what I would recommend this guy do, and you should enroll him immediately in the business opportunity. Enroll him immediately in the business opportunity, okay?
We're going to do that today, actually. He's excited about that, believe it or not. So that's
all right. Well, good man, David. So we're on the same page. So let's get to it. So heart palpitations. This is caused by degenerative disc disease in his back. And so what he should do to calm his heart down is he needs to get some ice and put it between his shoulder blades, 10 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 10 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 10 minutes on, 20 minutes off, all day long. The reason that his heart is palpitating and is not beating correctly is because the nerves coming out of the discs, the nerve coming out of his spinal cord is being squished by his backbones, because the intervertebral disc is not sufficient to the cause. So while we're giving him bone and joint and intervertebral disc nutritional support, it's a good idea to calm the nerve roots down, and ice on and ice off is a good way to do that. What's his current body weight, do you know?
Yeah, he's a very, very healthy 250 at 3% body fat usually. In the last year or two, he went up to 350 at 35% body fat. So he's very down about that. He's 48 years old, 350 pounds, and barely sleeping at all. So that's where he's at now, 350.
So you want to watch my webinar on weight loss, because the only thing that makes people gain weight is their bodies are nutritionally starved. And when your body is nutritionally starved, it forces you to eat in the desperate attempt to fill its nutritional stores, but the food that you're eating doesn't have the nutrients you need. So you eat like a son of a gun, and then 3 hours later you're starving again. And that's what drives weight gain. It's the same thing that's causing everything else. Chronic nutrient deficiencies are at play here. It's making him gain weight. It's making his thyroid funky. It's making his blood sugar funky. It's making his heart funky. It's making everything funky. And now the MDs just want to throw drugs at it to manage the problem, and that's just a fool's errand. Now, I'm not against drugs, right? It's not the drug, it's how it's used. It's not the gun, it's how it's used. I can prescribe drugs, and sometimes drugs will save your life, right? Thank God for Novocaine, but in this case, the MDs are going to have nothing for this guy except pain and suffering and large medical bills. So the recommendation would be 3 healthy blood sugar packs, 4 bottles of selenium, and 3 bottles of glucogel at the 240 count. 3 glucogel at the 240 count, 4 bottles of ultimate selenium, and 3 bottles of the healthy blood sugar, or 3 healthy blood sugar packs. 3 healthy blood sugar packs, 4 selenium, and 3 bottles of glucogel at the 240 count. Now, that's step 1. Step 2, he has to eliminate all 10 bad foods from his diet. If he does not do that, we're spitting into the wind. I don't care if he takes $1,000 of supplements a month. It's not going to work. He has to clean up his diet. You can get that list for free at my website, fireyourmdnow.com. Got to put the now at the end, fireyourmdnow.com, and sign up for my free newsletter. And when you sign up for the free newsletter, you get the list of good food, bad food. Now, also, the last thing you want to tell this guy is he needs to give the program 90 days, 3 months, before he judges it up or down. 90 days. Now, inside of 90 days, we're expecting something noticeable, measurable, and remarkable. Once we get a little traction anywhere, we just ride that horse all the way to the wonderful world of health. Thanks for taking a stand for people you don't even know, David. You are exactly why longevity is thriving. Stick around, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We're going to Santa Cruz when we come back. Back in the saddle again, ladies and gentlemen. 12-13-13, Friday the 13th. Lucky Friday the 13th. Let's go to Santa Cruz and see how Shirley's doing. Hey, Shirley, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thanks for taking my call.
Happy to help, Shirley. What's going on?
Well, I have arthritis in my hands, and I've been taking glucogel for the right amount for my weight for about 6 weeks. And I've got knots on my fingers, on some of them, on my first finger on my right hand, a knot there. But since the cold weather, since we've had cold weather last week and a half, that knot has swelled up, and it looks like it's a blister on top of my joint and my finger.
Yeah.
And it's very painful. My finger's stiff. I can't move it. I've been putting CM cream on it, which helps some, but it's not. It just seems to help the symptoms. It's not doing anything to bring that down, and I don't want to go to the doctor because I know they're probably going to stick a needle in there and drain that liquid.
Well. So is it soft and squishy or is it hard?
Yes, it's soft and squishy on the top now. It normally isn't. It's normally hard. But right now it's soft.
Yeah. All right, I think you got 2 things going on here. All right, so, all right, well, we'll get to this in just a second, but so how long have you been doing just glucogel, or have you been doing, the healthy bone and joint pack?
No, the healthy bone and joint pack for about 6 weeks.
All right. And have you eliminated the 10 bad foods?
I have.
All right. Good girl. And how long have you eliminated the 10 bad foods for?
About the same amount of time.
All right. Most excellent. Now, in that 6 weeks, Shirley, has anything anywhere in your body, mind improved? Mood, energy, appetite? Anything gotten better?
Yes. The soreness in my body it's gotten better. I'm also taking selenium.
Oh, good.
And sweetie.
All right. So how much better has the soreness gotten? 10%? 90%? Give me a number.
I'd say probably 30% better.
Okay, 30% in 6 weeks. That's very, very good. Very, very good. And how long previously had you been sore in your body before you started with longevity?
I've had this off and on for a number of years.
Okay,
then
so...
I just had 6 months ago, I had to have a heart bypass surgery.
Holy.
And so it seems like after that, and not being as active as normal in the recovery time, then it seems like it was worse when I finally was able to get up and start doing.
Well, that's a tough row to hoe. Any way you cut it. It's heart surgery. I mean, my heart goes out to you, but by that time the pun was intended. So, all right. So I got a couple of questions for you. The nodule that's on your finger, is it on the right hand or the left hand?
Right.
And what makes it feel better temporarily? Putting it in hot water or putting it in cold water?
Hot.
Hot water makes it feel better. And
when I get it in cold, it hurts. It aches.
Yeah. And if you use your hand, does continued motion of the hand make the pain feel better, or does it make it worse?
It makes it worse.
So the more that you use it, the worse it is.
It swells up after, I wrapped some Christmas packages yesterday.
Yeah.
And I thought a little bit better, but then last night it was worse, and it's worse today.
Okay, but when you're using your hands, does the pain go down temporarily?
No.
And then it gets worse when you stop, or is it just, holy smokes, every time you move your finger it hurts?
Holy smokes, every time I move my finger it hurts.
All right, excellent. Now, at this point in time, are you a human barometer? Can you predict when it's going to rain because this thing starts to act up?
Well, I can feel that all over me. Like when the cold spell came in, it was just like, whoa, all of a sudden my hands hurt. I have it in other joints in my hands, and the thing of it is I have it worse since I've gone through this bypass surgery. It seems like I'm having more problems with my different fingers than I ever had.
Yeah, well, that would make sense to me. Now, is it rainy weather that sets you off, or is it cold weather, or is it both?
Mostly, I would say we haven't had too much rain here, so I don't know if it's the rain, but I think it'll probably be both. Mostly the cold, though. The cold really does hurt.
All right, Shirley, stick around. Shirley, we're going to dial you in the homeopathic treatment. We're going to see what we can do with the nutritional supplements also in order to give you a less painful holiday season. Stick around, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Friday the 13th. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Boards are lit up today. We're going to keep going at it. Shirley from Santa Cruz, are you still with me?
I'm still here.
Okay, very good. So, is there anything else that's bothering you big time in addition to the arthritic stuff going on in your fingers? Do you have anything at all? Asthma, gas, insomnia, anything else that's a big, bad voodoo daddy for you?
Well, like I say, I have the pain all over in my body, not just my hands. And I don't have any gas or any insomnia. I can go to sleep. But I wake up within about, normally about 2 or 3 hours. And then, I'm awake for a while, then I go back to sleep. But now, the last couple of nights, I've noticed a big improvement. I've been sleeping about 4 hours. And I just told my daughter this morning, I said, I think that calcium that I'm taking is really starting to kick in, I hope.
Yeah.
The liquid calcium, because I take it just at night. I can't seem to take 2 doses of it because I seem to get a diarrhea if I do, but I can take 1.
Well, you can spread them apart then. Do one in the morning and one at night. There should be no problem there.
That's what I've been doing.
Okay. You can also put it in a little bit of orange juice to increase its absorption into your body, like 2-3 ounces of orange juice, okay?
I do.
All right, good. Now, are you familiar with homeopathy?
Yes.
All right. Have you ever tried it for this particular problem, the finger pain?
No, I haven't. I tried it for, I tried the arnica.
All right, so here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to go to the health food store and pick a homeopathic medicine. First I'll say it, and then I'll spell it.
Okay.
It's called Rus toxicodendron. You spell that R like Roger, H like Harry, U, S like Sam. Second word, T like Thomas, O, X, I, C like Charlie, O, D like David, E, N like Nancy, D like David, R, O-N, like Nancy, Rus toxicodendron. If you can find it in the 200C strength to get it, or the 200 CK strength, and if you get it in the 200C or CK strength, I'd like you to take 2 pellets twice a day for 7 days. If you can only find it in the 30C strength, I would like you to take 2 pellets 4 times a day for 7 days. 2 pellets 4 times a day for 7 days of the 30C, or 2 pellets twice a day for 7 days of the 200C. Add that to your program and see whether or not it improves the pain.
That's the 30 strength. That was 2 pellets twice per day?
No, 2 pellets 4 times a day of the 30C. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you get the 200C, which is preferred, you do it twice a day.
Right. And then, and that was for 7 days also on the 30 pellets.
Yep, 7 days either way. And if inside of that 7-day frame you experience anything remarkable, positive or negative, you stop taking the medicine. You let it ride. Okay. So let's say you take 3 doses, right? And you wake up the next morning and the pain is 50% better. Well, you don't take it anymore. Until the improvement that you have achieved reverses, then you start taking the medicine again, and then you stop when you feel a noticeable improvement. You start and stop like that all the way through. Okay? All right. Now, another thing that you can do is increase, as an experiment, for a couple days, I want you to double the amount of calcium that you're taking. So do 1 ounce 4 times a day. All right?
Okay.
And I think 2 things here. That number one, you just haven't given the program enough time. It's only been 6 weeks, and you've been suffering for quite a while. Number 2, because you've been gluten-free for only 6 weeks, right, it's still very, very difficult for your system to absorb anything. So even though you're taking the requisite amount of the supplements appropriate for your body weight every day, your system is probably maybe only absorbing 10, 20, 30% of it because of the bad stuff generated by, 40, 50 years of gluten, right?
Right. The other concern that I've had, I've heard Dr. Wallach say that everybody in the house needs to go gluten-free, but I live with my daughter and son-in-law and grandchildren, and they're not going to go gluten-free.
Well, no, Wallach says that because it's just easier. It's easier if everybody's gluten-free and there's no cross-contamination, but you don't need to worry about that. You really don't need to worry about that. Just take care of your own house.
All right.
And then when people see you improve, that they might become encouraged to try it too, right?
Right.
So you just maintain the discipline here. Take double the amount of calcium that you're taking and just give it more time, and hopefully the Rus Tox will take the edge off as the nutrition slowly seeps into your body and stimulates the healing process. Does that make sense, Shirley?
That makes sense. I just want this blister to go down if it would do that.
Yeah, okay, so don't worry about that. Do the homeopathic. That will help. If anything can help the blister, it's going to be the homeopathic.
All right.
So just try the homeopathic, double the calcium that you're taking, and keep your fingers crossed. And call me next week with a report. I'll look forward to it.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Shirley. Keep up the good work. You're welcome. From California to Virginia, let's talk to Terry. Hey, Terry, thanks for the phone call. It's your turn on Fire Your MD Now.
Hey, Dr. Glidden, how are you today?
Fantastic. What's going on down there in Virginia?
I appreciate you taking my call. I've just got a couple of quick questions. If you had lymphatic cancer, what would you do, what wouldn't you do, and why, and what kind of questions would you ask your present doctors?
Well, I would get my book. If you have a Kindle or one of those electronic reading devices, you can download my book for $10. You can have it in 30 seconds and just visit my website. Go to the store button on my website and download my book. It's easy. And in my book, there's a chapter on cancer. It's a small chapter. I wrote it for one express purpose, because there are 10 questions in the chapter on cancer that every cancer patient needs to politely ask their oncologist. 10 questions. And when you ask your oncologist these 10 questions, you want to have a tape recorder and you want to have a witness. You want to have somebody with you so that you don't feel intimidated by the doctor. And you want to hold the doctor's feet to the fire politely and ask him or her these 10 questions. When you hear your oncologist's answer to these 10 questions, you will know in your bones whether or not conventional MD cancer treatment is a good thing for you to do. But if you don't ask these questions, you will not know. And doctors snow job their patients all of the time. Because from the doctor's point of view, you've got cancer. There's nothing else for you to do but do chemotherapy and radiation and surgery. And even though it's 1% effective, it's 1% is better than no percent. You better just shut up and do what the doctor says. And nobody ever questions them. You don't have to be mean-spirited about it. I mean, if you were going to spend $30,000 on an automobile, you would ask the car dealer a whole bunch of questions before you jumped, right? If you're going to hire somebody to put a $20,000 roof on your house, you're going to ask them a whole bunch of questions before you write the check. Well, you need to do the same thing when you're even considering cancer treatment, but nobody does, because we're all intimidated by the men and the women in the white coats, and, the beat goes on. So, get my book, read those 10 questions politely to your oncologist, and when they answer them, you will know whether or not you're going to go with them for their treatment. Now, we can't treat cancer, it's illegal, but if I had lymphatic cancer, in order to support and promote the structure and function of my immune system and my circulatory system, I would do 1 bottle of Z Radical a day. I would do 1 bottle of Z Radical a day. I would mortgage my house. I would get 1 bottle of Z Radical, and I would drink it every day. In addition to that, regardless of my body weight, I would do 4 bottles of selenium a month, and 1 anti-aging healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And the last thing that I would do is 1 bottle of plant minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month. So I do 1 anti-aging healthy start pack and 1 bottle of plant minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month. I would do 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month, and I would do 1 bottle of Z Radical every day. If I couldn't afford that, I'd do 1 every other day. If I couldn't afford that, I'd do 1 every 3 days. If I couldn't afford that, I'd do 1 every 4 days, and so forth and so on. Mortgage the house and take the supplements. That's my advice. That's what I would do.
How long does it take to get on the other side?
It's impossible to tell, because all we have in the wonderful world of cancer is anecdotal evidence from various disciplines from all over the world, and who knows how reliable they are. But our basic rule of thumb for anything, it doesn't matter what it is give the program 90 days, 3 months, to judge its effects up or down. Give the program 90 days to see how it's working. And, inside of that 90 days, in addition to paying attention to the numbers in your blood that are the indicators of whether the cancer is growing or not, you want to pay attention to everything else. Mood, energy, sleep, appetite, weight, everything. Because this is a holistic affair. This is not a a treatment that specifically targets the lymphatic system. That's nonsense. Everything's connected in the body. And so when we get on board with a holistic health recovery program, or a program designed to support and promote the structure and function of the entire body, well, we look to the entire body for improvement. And often, when one thing gets better, it's only a matter of time until the next. But regretfully, because of the pharmaceutical industry and because of the monopolization of the medical marketplace by the American Medical Association, all that we have in the world of non-MD medicine for cancer is anecdotal evidence. You know, in a perfect world, the naturopathic physicians and the homeopathic physicians would get as much research money as the MDs do for cancer treatment. And there would be naturopathic cancer treatment facilities all around the United States. There would be homeopathic cancer treatment facilities all around the United States. They would all be covered by insurance. But there are not. And so we're up against it here, and we're up against it hard. And if you're not infuriated by the American Medical Association's domination of the cancer industry, then you've got your head in the sand. Something needs to be done because they deliver zero results. Well, they don't deliver zero results, but the amount of results that we've gotten in cancer treatment from the MDs for the amount of money that we've given them is unbelievably ridiculous. There's no other business which would give so much money for so little return and then keep giving them money. It wouldn't happen in any other industry, would not happen in any other industry. But the pharmaceutical companies play the tune, and everybody in the world dances and slowly dies to it. And this is what we're up against. For goodness sake, Terry, remain who you are and continue to be a stand for the health of anybody in Virginia who wants to listen, because you are their last best hope for living long, healthy, and wealthy lives. Stick around, folks. Going to Canada when we come back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Friday the 13th episode. Fire your MD now. For some reason, the phone boards are all lit up today, so we're going to dispense with all of the frivolity and get right to it. Let's go up to Canada and see what Larry's up to. Hey, Larry, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hello, Doc. How are you?
I'm good. What part of Canada are you calling from, Larry?
Alberta.
Alberta. Very, very good. So,
yes.
how many feet of snow is on the ground up there?
A couple feet. It's cold, but that's the northern part of it for you.
So, are you in Edmonton, Camrose, Calgary, Red Deer? Where are you?
Around Camrose.
Yeah, very nice.
So, I'm calling today for my daughter. She was born 7 years and 4 months ago, and today she's walking with braces from her hips all the way down to her toes. She can bend at the knees. When she was born with a broken femur. She was born with no movement from her waist down, could not move her toes, had no feelings. Club feet, the doctors already did surgery on that, also did surgery on, they called it a very minor tethered cord syndrome. She did surgery on that. And yesterday, because I went there, is I'm on the longevity program for 2 months now. I've been talking to Dr. Wallach, following his remedy. But we are not seeing change in the tests she's doing, EMG tests.
Yeah.
Like the nerves are there. The doctor is explaining like they're very thin. But he cannot give us a reason why they are like that. He said they're there, but they are very thin.
Yeah.
We're just curious if we should continue what we're doing.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Now, here's the sticking point. And this is a very important thing to understand for everybody in longevity. And this is because of the way that we've been, the culture that we've grown up here in North America, right? We're used to quick everything. I mean, the average person now, the average teenager is multitasking, right? They're doing 3 things all at the same time. We're used to quick, fixes. You take the aspirin, and in 20 minutes the pain is gone, right? You take the Prilosec, and in 15 minutes the pain is gone, or whatever. We're used to quick fixes. But with the holistic method, it's a slow boat. It's a slow boat, because what the holistic health recovery programs encourage is recovery of your health, and that happens in its own time. You know, there's that old saying, right? You can't force the nut from the shell, and when the nut is green, not even the sharpest knife will be able to separate the nut from the shell. But when the nut is ripe, just one tap and the nut pops out of the shell. It's exactly the same with holistic healing. You must stay the course. Now, the old-time naturopath said that it takes 1 month for every year that you've had the problem to get on the other side of it. But with neurological stuff, often we see that extended quite a bit. So this begs the question, how old is your daughter?
7 years, 4 months. She's 90 pounds. Well, she is overweight. Like, it's hard for her to move around. But what we're seeing, we've been seeing changes on her, like, from birth till now. Like, she's improving. Like, she's getting stronger. She can actually now hold her weight for a couple of minutes without braces. Before, like the doctor said, she'd be paralyzed from her waist down.
Well, how long have you been giving her the diet and Dr. Wallach's treatment? How many months?
2 months.
You got to do it for 5 more. So you got to maintain this discipline for at least 7 months, at least. And inside of the 7-month time period, you're going to want to look to see something get better, right? Maybe it's her mood, maybe it's her weight, maybe it's her appetite, maybe it's her sleep.
Her appetite's gotten more, her mood is getting better, but it's not really that we're seeing change, like, in her movement of her toes. Like, she can move her toes, she cannot move her ankles, she can kick her foot forward but cannot pull it back.
Okay, so we have to give the body more time, number one. And number two, you must eliminate the 10 bad foods from her diet. Have you done that?
I've done that. She's gluten-free. I've been following the program.
All right, excellent. So the only other thing to do because of the neurological condition is give more cholesterol and wait for 5 more months. Dr. Wallach is never wrong. That's all I can tell you, Larry. Give it more time. Have her eat more cholesterol. I appreciate the call. Hour 2 coming up, folks. Stick around. This is Friday the 13th.